it's nice to feel settled with the team after round one for once in my life here. And that's the case with the overall team, my main team, obviously, and then the head-to-head team there. And we're making one trade in my team, and that is very, very simple, thankfully. And I actually think it's a really big upgrade, and that is Kai Pearce-Paul coming in, and through DPP there with Salmon going back down to the centre wing, I'm able to remove Bostock from the side. And I do think that this is helpful, obviously, being able to have the couple of 2RF dual centre wings. Obviously, they're both in the centre wing now, but if anything happens up top in the 2RF, next week or this week, obviously then I can move those guys back up. And I've decided to keep Hutcho as well. It does give me a little bit of dual position flexibility if Hines or Cleary was to get injured as well. Obviously, I could pop him up into that position. And the reason I did keep Hutcho and Salmon, because they were the other two options I could have traded, was that I just think that they have a little bit more upside. We didn't get to see what happened, what was going to happen with Jamin. Was he going to play sort of 50 minutes through the middle and get a 45 or something like that, or close to a 50, given he was sort of a point a minute for the beginning of that game? If that's the case, then he does have a bit more money to make, I think, than Bostock, who's probably going to be closer to the 35 to 40 average, needing tries like he did on the weekend. So happy to move on from Bostock. Obviously, he has the bye next week as well. It's another week later until he can make some money for our side. And I just thought the dual position guys was very, very helpful for the team. The other option, guys, was to trade Beau Fermor out, but I do think he's got more to give. There's some mixed reports out there. Obviously, his first game back, he did have the trial, but first game properly back, there was some reports that he was potentially sick. He also didn't have foreign, so I think those three are enough to give him another week, and we obviously don't lose money on him until the end of round 4, which is ideal as well, so we can have another look at him definitely next week and then make our decision from there and see what happens, because he does have sort of 60 upside and plenty of cash to make, and with the ability having 69,000 in the bank to just go up from Bostock to Kai Pearce-Paul, Kai, thoughts on him? So this week, I think it's going to be great. Like, you're probably going to get a pretty good score from him. Expect 50 plus, I'd say, at this point. He got 43 in 40 minutes. If he gets any attacking stats, then that's going to be a 50 plus for sure. The question is next week, and he does have a position in the team, so that's a win, but the minutes are the worry going forward. I'm happy to take the risk at 345 that he will have games where he does, even off the bench in 40 minutes or 35 minutes, 30 minutes, can get some attacking stats and sneak some 50s in there and potentially still make some money even from the bench. But obviously with this starting game here, if he can go big, and I'm hoping for that upside from him, then that's going to be really, really helpful. My question, guys, now is around captaincy. So I'm looking at this squad, very, very happy. Sort of Totola, we're hoping for a bit more of a bounce back. Same with Piakura, obviously there is going to be good. The rest of the squad, we're looking pretty settled, pretty happy. My question now, guys, is obviously with both of them having the bye this week, I can loop potentially if we want to. So Hines could be that vice guy, and then we do look to potentially loop. My worry and annoyance, I suppose, with my looping, if I do decide to do it, Beau Fermor comes into this starting side, and who of these guys ends up not playing for me this week? That's probably the question. Or it's someone else, but it's Cleary, it's Brown or Metcalf, whichever one I decide to start, obviously, and then it's Ponga or Trbojevic. So it is one of these two RFs that won't be in the starting squad. So my personal opinion, guys, I think Nicho Hines is the best captain this week against the Dogs. But the question is, do I end up vicing him in this scenario? Or do I just straight captain him? I think in the head-to-head team, I don't have a looper, so I think I'm going to straight captain him there. And maybe this is the opportunity I have to vice him, see what he gets. And obviously, if it's anything above 100, we do look to potentially do the loop. But we'll see what's happening by that stage after the second game, I think. And maybe where like Hutcho, Salmon, these guys kind of end up, and and Hughes obviously as well. And if they, depending on how they've scored, make the decision from there. That's probably the correct play here. And then captain either Tom Trbojevic or Ponga. At this stage, potentially Tommy, but we'll have a little play around because the team I'm pretty happy with, I suppose, down in the centre wing. Playing a Tuapiki, would be nice if maybe we had a non-player down here, and that would make the loop easier. So I do think at the moment that, as I said, Hines probably the best captaincy, but for a little bit of safety, we're going to likely vice him and then just captain him in the head-to-head. So we've got both options there, which is cool. And I'm not opposed to captaining Tommy or Ponga, obviously against the Cowboys for Ponga, and against the Roosters, which is going to be a little bit harder for Tommy T in this scenario. But yeah, to only use one trade in this team, very, very happy with that setup. And then we'll see if it's a 2 or a 3 trade week next week, with depending on how things go. Like if Piakura comes out and goes really poorly, then maybe he is a trade coming into round 3, and we can make some decisions out of that. I should be able to make some money from guys like Smithies and Metcalf and Laybart, obviously having them since the start, and Tuapiki, Trebojevic. There should be a lot of guys making money. So I'm in a pretty happy position with my trades and my team heading into round 2. Joe Chan, hopefully he can play a little bit better as well and make some money on top of that. Maybe some attacking stats would be delightful. But yeah, Brandon Smith, we're locking and loading with him as our hooker in the squad. And that's where we are with our trades for round 2. Super excited. Let me know in the comments as well, guys, what you're looking to trade. The news on Tallis Duncan, guys, it sounds like Murray is potentially going to be playing edge with Tallis in the middle. So I expect minutes to be higher than he got last year. But he's also been carrying a bit of a calf complaint in the preseason. Sounds like that's come from Wacko Whispers anyway. But makes sense as to why he didn't make that 17 in round 1. Didn't go to Vegas and be in that starting team. So that's that. And then he's come in. Is he going to be a bench guy? And they're going to start one of their other middles in the 13. That's going to be something to note there for sure. So that's my team at the moment. Head-to-head team, had to make a couple of changes. So we did have like 220 in the bank. So Spencer Lenu goes to Terrell May, very simply at that. So team looks very similar up top now. So Brandon Smith in this team as well, but Thomas Flegler had him last week from round 1. Very, very excited by that pairing. Obviously next week he's going to have the bye, so we're going to have to play one of Henry or Hughes. Hopefully Henry's still getting that 30 odd minutes, and I think we can get close to a 40 out of him, which is great, and that'll be no problem with the cover at that. For our 2RF, it's Piakura, Smithies, keep giving Spencer Satili Tupanua another crack, and then we've got Lukey and Lane. So we should expect some bigger scores from Piakura, Tupanua, and also Lane, I'd imagine, for the most part, which will be nice. Going to straight see Nico Hines in this one, which will be fun, with Cleary as reserve. So do expect some bounce back from a few of these top guns for sure. Brown with the 54, like I had a pretty tough week last week, 818 or something, not great. As you can tell with a few of the guys that I had that underperformed, having Piakura and Tupanua, not ideal at all. Brown, I got Galvin now playing, so he's going to sit there on the bench, and hopefully things work out for him. But I did trade in Laybart, and that did come at the expense of Hutcho. You see there, I've got 5,800, so that was the way to get him. I think that was very suited, and I have him in both sides, which is fun. We have Roger as well to go along with Taylor May and Ben Trebojevic. So a very strong centre wing in my opinion, and very happy to run that. Hopefully a bigger game from Drinkwater as well, who was slightly underwhelming in a very, very good team. So if they can come out and play pretty well again, you imagine Drinkwater's going to be in the thick of it this time. Ponga as, I'm just going to have to vice one of these guys, so may as well just vice, who's going to vice them, buddy? Piakura. Piakura might be my man to vice, so I don't have like Ponga locked if something goes wrong. But that's the theory there. And then you got Salmon, Bostock, and Strange on the bench. Overall, pretty happy with the team after the 2 trades now. And again, we'll see what happens after this week. And if we have to make a couple of trades next week, then we will do that there. As I said, let me know your thoughts in the comments on my trades, your team, any thoughts around Supercoach. Super excited for the week ahead. This was much easier on the trades front. I had these done sort of just after Teamless Tuesday. The fantasy trades have taken a lot longer. And I'm dealing with the Cam Murray news now. Do we like him on the bench, on the edge as much as we do in the middle? I don't think so. So create some questions. But can't wait for this week, and I'm super excited to see where you guys all end up as well. Let me know in the comments during the round how if any of your players have come out and done well, or if it's any of my advice, and if any of the advice was bad, let me know as well. So that was fun, guys. See you later.